Salut les gars, bienvenue dans l'UX Voyager. I think the only thing left for me now is my accent. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the UX Voyager where we think and talk about designs. I trust you're doing well and I pray that God gives us this day our daily bread. Everybody is working so hard now so they can live a soft life. And to make your life soft, you have to extend it into the world of digital experiences. That's where I come in as a UX designer. Today is a case of being there, done that. I could remember when life was still a better place, at least when school fees of federally owned schools were within the range of 10,000 naira to about 20,000 naira. So one blessed day, scratch that, one not really blessed day, I received an alert of 25,000 naira captioned school fees from my father. My school fees was about 19,000 naira at the time, so the extra 6,000 naira, let's just say hidden charges, that I see as my going to school to make family proud bonus. I hope my father never listens to this podcast so that my siblings will be safe. The plan was that I'll take out of my bonus to recharge 2,000 naira airtime. The recharge process was smooth. I opened my bank app, selected buy airtime, selected the network, and entered the amount. And since I was recharging to myself, there was no authentication needed to be done. Bad the devil drinking water. Hey, Jomo. People of the congregation, that was how I recharged 20,000 naira airtime. It's still painful to know. And that was how I got my second shot to test my entrepreneurial skills. I had to start convincing people who don't need airtime that they need it. And my reason was that I will be dropping out if they don't. In a bid to achieve a smooth experience, all friction was removed. And there was no intermediary screen showing a summary of confirmed recharge of 2,000 naira. No opportunity to even double check. Just whew. The app assumes that your input is correct and prioritizes speed over everything else. In the hurriedness of my thumb might have lingered a fraction too long on the zero key, or perhaps the responsive touchscreen registered an extra tab that I did not intend. And before I realized it, I received a notification. Your recharge of 20,000 naira was successful. This is me casted in a real-life horror movie. 20,000 naira. That's 10 times the amount I intend to spend on airtime right now. In fact, I don't think my allowance at the time, for you, my allowance at the time was not even up to 20,000 naira a month. And this is me recharging 20,000 naira in a day, just in a flash. Panic setting. And even if you tried calling customer care, you'll be put on hold for an indefinite period, or they pass you between bank and the network provider who they have sent it to MTN. MTN will say, call your bank again. Don't worry, I'm only smiling or laughing now but that experience was not actually a funny one. The seamless and fast UX that applied to me recharging airtime suddenly vanished when it came to customer care response. Don't worry, you can keep laughing. Wait until you mistakenly transferred money to your unserious friend who jokes with everything. That's when you know that. We'll come back to that. But let's go back to the main crux of the matter. Prioritizing speed and minimizing all friction can backfire, especially when dealing with financial transactions. While we want a smooth, no stress experience, which is what we recognize as good UX, the absence of critical confirmation steps can lead to a significant user error, and this can actually cause financial consequences. You'll also notice the reason people are skeptical about using OPay for huge transaction. Even if it is fast, they presume it to be less secure. And this got me thinking, when does making things harder create better experiences? The conventional wisdom in UX design is that reduce friction, simplify flows, increase motivation, minimize clicks, and in many cases, that is actually and most times correct or right. But what if there's more to the story? There's something called the IKEA effect. For those who don't know IKEA, it's like a furniture or whatnot. And they have a psychological principle where they believe humans value things more when they require effort. So you want to buy a furniture which you couple yourself when you get home. They have been broken down into pieces, so you just need to arrange them when you get to your house. So we place higher value on things we help create, even if the result is identical to something that is already made. It gives us that feeling of we were part of the manufacturing or of the creation of that product. So this principle extends beyond furniture assembly. It shapes how we experience digital products in profound ways, in many ways. Let us look at authentication and security, for example. If you go to your banking app and you are transferring a large sum of money, you'll be much more careful than when you are transferring just 2,000 naira or 8,000 naira. Do you want it to be easy as possible, or you would prefer some friction, or a confirmation screen, or even a multi-factor authentication when you're trying to make a large transfer on your phone? So would you prefer some friction or whatnot to complete the process? The major component in fintech is trust. And when things happen in a flash, it is just like, what just happened? So deliberately adding a minimal paced verification will give users that sense of security, that serious security check that they think would happen when you go to a bank and they see the cashier or the teller, that the person in charge just, trying to process their transactions. Even though the actual processing time has increased, people still feel safe. You can also take this further by making existing security measures more visible. When users see SSL encryption, they don't know what it means, but because it has padlock sign and all those security type of thing, they just feel more safe. So you can add security indicators for security checks and confirmation steps along the way. Another thing we can look at is commitment formation. You will notice Duolingo's approach to language learning. There is a deliberate inclusion of streaks, daily reminder, practice requirements. All these things are a form of frictions, and they could be removed. But they are essential to helping users form a lasting habit. By the way, I'm on a 467-day streak learning French. Félicitations à moi. Another example actually is a solution I worked on. And the solution was to improve medical adherence or medication adherence. The initial design made medication tracking as simple as possible. My whole idea was with just a single tap to confirm, they are good to go. However, the adherence rates were disappointingly low, so I added more friction. Users must now take a photo of their medication, which was verified through image recognition. This extra step improved adherence rate up to 40%. And that little investment of effort created a stronger commitment to the process. Another interesting thing we can look out for is meaningful achievements. The game guys have hacked these ones. Think about the last time you really felt accomplished using a digital product. I'm betting it was when something wasn't handed to you. It was rather when you overcame a challenge. And that's why I said the game guys have hacked this for a very, very long time. A game without a challenge is quickly abandoned. The same principle applies to other digital experiences. If you also look at Upwork's profile completion bar, where you see how long or how strong your profile is, people could create bare minimum profile and just continue. But The fact that they are seeing how strong their profile is, it has created this intentional friction that they have to complete their profile. And well, except you don't want a gig or anything, you would always complete your profile. So, how do we apply these insights to design? We can look at friction in two ways: constructive friction and destructive friction. For this episode, we are dealing with constructive friction. And how do you do that? Number one, match friction to value. The more significant the outcome, the more appropriate friction becomes. A major purchase should feel bigger than liking a photo. Number two, make friction meaningful. Every bit of effort you ask from users should connect clearly to a benefit that they care about. Security steps should feel like protection, not a formality. Number three, provide appropriate rewards. After users have invested effort, acknowledge and reward that investment. The bigger the friction, the more significant the payoff should feel. Ìkìlọ̀ pàtàkì. A critical warning. There is a world of difference between constructive friction and a poor design. A constructive friction is intentional and it is also beneficial. It creates value for users, but bad design, on the other hand, creates accidental friction. And that one actually wastes time and creates frustration in the long run. So the key difference is that purposeful friction helps users achieve their goals more effectively, even if the path to get there takes a bit longer. So the next time you are designing a digital experience, resist the urge to remove all friction. Instead, ask, where could there be a bit of intentional effort to create more meaningful commitment or even satisfaction? After all, the most memorable journey are not always the easiest one. Sometimes, the path with a well-placed obstacles, a little obstacles around the way, leads to the most rewarding destination. That's all for today's UX Voyager. I am curious to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced digital products where a bit of friction was actually added to improve your experience? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, I am your host, Mubarak Babajide. Abiento. See you soon.